But if you say, hey, I'm Devon, I'm the CEO of Play Black Wall Street.
I'm the CEO, founder of...
I fired myself as the CEO, and I was like, what you can do. Terrible videos.
Just imagine, fortunately, how much money we probably lost because people were confused, didn't know where to find the game.
I would record the interview, ask myself the question, and then I would play it back like taking notes. I don't like that answer. That's a good answer, okay. And then at the end, I would make a decision. Do I hire Devon or do I not hire Devon? What we want you to do is work on your leadership style, work on being able to use systems. Maybe you need to work on X, Y, and Z a little bit more before you're really ready to be CEO.
You have to communicate well.
That's a big one.
That's a huge one. So like if you don't already communicate well in your...
Attention couplepreneurs, newly married folks, or you've been married for 10, 50, 11 years, and maybe 50, 11 strong years, and now you're like, maybe we should start a business together. This podcast is going to be for you. We're going to go through a couple questions that we think you should ask yourself and maybe most importantly, your partner before going into a venture. We started a business together in 2017. It's been a roller coaster experience, a lot of ups, a lot of downs, but mostly ups. And we have some things that we just want to make sure can help your journey.
Welcome to another episode of the Melanated Married Millionaires in the Making show, aka the M4 show. King, where can they tap in with us?
Y'all can tap in with us at www.them4show.com. Also tap in with us on Instagram at the M4 Show. If you got topics that you want to see, hit us in the DMs. We appreciate you.
Now let's get into the episode.
If this is your first time tapping into the podcast, my name is Devon Travell, creator of Black Wall Street, the board game. And with me, I have my partner in life, business, the queen of logistics and operations herself. Talk to him.
What is up, everybody? My name is Sinclair, aka the Health Nerd. And yes, happy to be joining you for a Ask Declare, basically, episode here.
It's an Ask Declare episode. Just so you know, I don't know if you can hear it in my voice, but I'm a little nasally, got some stuff in my nose. I just got back from Sacramento, and it's literally the city of trees and pollen and allergies. So I came back to sneezing every bit of the 916 out of my soul, but I still got a little bit left. So my apologies if you hear that, but we're gonna get right into it. Let us know inside the comments if you are considering starting a business. What type of business are y'all leaning towards? Is it a real estate company? Is it a board game company? Is it a podcast? Go ahead and drop that inside the comments. But without further ado, let's get into the episode. So first question, love. And this question I've heard multiple times from people, and that is, when starting a business, how do you identify your/our strengths that we can monetize? Like, what is that process like? How do you determine what type of business you should even go into based on your own skills and strengths? Any wisdom you want to add to that on how maybe we did that or how you suggest other people do that?
Well, I guess it's more on like you initially and your strengths being talking.
Word.
Yeah, he likes to talk. So it makes sense that we now figure out how to monetize that by, doing speaking engagements, creating courses, that type of thing, where not only are we offering the product, right, the Black Wall Street, the board game, which also came from, some skills of yours and kind of unique value propositions of yours, like not liking to read, right? But liking games that came together to create Black Wall Street, the board game. So I feel like that was a nice way of creating a product, but then thinking about how can we expand the business is where we really decided to tap into his skill of public speaking, being able to really engage with all ages, but especially with the young ones, like get really on their level and be able to engage with them. And so I think those things have really helped us identify our initial product, but then also expand the business into, again, offering speaking as another kind of revenue stream.
Oh, yeah. And I think another thing that we've done and definitely recommend to you all is doing like personality assessments to figure out what is your strength. So as the queen was saying, she was focusing on, Devon, your strength is talking, which I love to talk. Devon, your strength is gaming. And then once we did the DISC assessment, we also found out that, the queen's strength is logistics. analytical, cautious mindset, making sure that we have everything mapped out before we make a decision. And that's why she became the director of logistics and operations based on her strengths. So, highly recommend taking either a free or a paid personality assessment so you can get a deeper breakdown of who you are, who your partner is. Second thing that I wanted to recommend is maybe, I don't want to assume, but you probably have a job right now. Someone literally is paying you to do a set of skills, a specific set of skills that can be used and combined at any moment, right? So you already have a professional skill set. So think about how can you pivot that skill set, whether it's McDonald's, it's Pepsi, it's Nike, it's Lumex, it's Sony, someone's paying you to do a set job. How can you do that same job for your own brand, right? So for me, I was working in education and I was basically promoting colleges, right? Going to the Black College Expo, going to college fairs, having one-on-one with students, and every time I was promoting a specific university. So that skill set of promoting, of speaking, of getting up, speaking in front of a crowd and persuading or motivating students to go to one particular college, I now use that same mindset to persuade people to purchase Black Wall Street, the board game, right? So think about what do you get paid for now in your current job and how can you take those basic skills and pivot them to your own business.
Yep.
Right?
That's a great place to start. If you have no idea, you want to start a business, you don't know where to start with where your current expertise lies, which is probably, again, what you spend most of your time doing at your full-time job. That's a great place to start.
Yes, ma'am. You ready for question number 2?
Yes.
All right. Question number 2 for couples that are interested in starting their own business. What are your long-term goals for the business and how do they align with your personal goals? And I think we talked about this in a previous episode, but some people start jobs or side hustles and they just want to keep it as a side hustle. Or I just want to make a little extra $500, $2,000 a month so that we can travel, so that we can buy a bigger house, so that we can save for our next child, whatever that maybe short-term goal is. And there's other couples that are like, no, we're building a business.
Right.
We want to have employees. We want to work for the business full time. We want benefits. We want retirement, healthcare. We want to charter private planes. Hey, dream big. Why not? But what is the actual business goal that you have, and set that intention from the beginning so that you can drive towards that goal. Queen, anything you want to sprinkle on that?
Just like you said, like our intention of starting our business was to be able to employ both of us, hopefully be able to employ our kids later on, right? Be able to pass the business on and really create like a family enterprise. Like that's the goal. So we are thinking with that mindset and making those types of decisions every step along the way. Whereas again, if you're just trying to do something on the side, then you may make decisions a little bit differently. So decide what the end goal is. Is this something that is like a family business that you want everybody to get involved in? You want it to employ?
I want everyone to get involved in our business. And this is the debate that we always have. Our kids, in my aspect, in my mind, mandatory need to work for the business. The queen is a little bit more lenient in those requirements.
Oh, yeah.
We'll see what happens. See us in 15 years when we have kids that are legally able to work.
But yeah, I think it's just really thinking about the end in mind. What is the goal of this business?
There it is. Now, question number 3. This is a good one to definitely ask beforehand so that y'all don't snowball and make a lot of emotional decisions afterwards. And this is financially, how are you going to support the business? Right? Your first year, 2 years, maybe even 3 years, it's going to be a lot of out-of-pocket expenses, right? Paying for maybe that business phone, paying for marketing materials, paying for your StreamYard account, paying for your cameras, all that stuff is probably going to be out-of-pocket expenses. So figure out how much can you realistically afford to invest in this business from the jump, right? Maybe you take a year, maybe 2 years before starting to save $500 a month, $200 a month, put it to the side. And then now that you have the 6,000, 10,000, boom, now you start that business. And then second thing is, what happens to your profit in the business? Does it go back into the business, right? That Nipsey Hussle kind of mindset, all money in and just keep on building from there? Or do you take owner distributions? Do you pay yourself? Do you pay your employees? Do you do other things with that income? These are good things to talk about beforehand. have your plan with a little bit of wiggle room, a little bit of room to sidestep here and there, but have your set plan for where the money's going to come from for your seed investment.
And I think keeping in mind that even if your goal for for example, for us, the end goal was always to again be in our businesses full time and be employed by our business full time. Um, we still took the money from our business for the first couple of years, thank you to Devon, and reinvested it back into the business. And that's how we were able to get more gains. That's how we were able to make sure that we have all of the things we need, all of the subscriptions that we need for the business. Because it was understood for these first couple of years, we're still both having our full-time job. So we didn't need that extra income. It was really an investment of time and energy for the fruit to come to be bared.
To bear the fruit later.
To bear the fruit later on. So that's just something to keep in mind. Even if the end goal is to eventually work for the business, those first couple of years, if you really wanted to grow at the rate that is going to be able to employ you full time, you probably should be reinvesting most of that money. If you wanted to grow at a rate to where in 5 years, which is pretty much what we were able to do, it can employ you. Now, if you are starting that business, you're going to need that profit, early on. Fine, but just understand that now with less money being invested into the business, it may grow at a slightly slower rate.
For sure.
So rather than 5 years, it may take 8 to 10 years for it to fully employ you. Those are just the pros and cons that you really have to weigh out at the beginning. And then again, if this is like a side hustle business, then just what is this money for? And it's probably for a specific goal or specific purpose in the first place. So you can have that go to wherever it needs to go. But I think no matter what, some level of reinvestment back into the business is probably going to be necessary for growth, if growth is the goal.
Agreed. Queen, random question. Scale of 1 to 10, how nasally is my voice? 10 being you sound like SpongeBob. SpongeBob Squidward. 1 being, not bad. You sound normal.
Like 4.
It's a 4. Okay. It's not terrible.
Yeah. I mean, I can tell you don't sound normal.
But y'all don't know that. It's your first, you don't even know me like that, right? Because you haven't subscribed.
Tragic.
You haven't liked this video. You haven't followed us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Apple Music. Come on. You need to know what my natural voice sounds like so you can roast me accordingly in the comments when I sound like this, y'all.
You sound like Squidward.
But yeah, definitely make sure y'all tap in though. But serious note, what is something, Queen, that you wish you knew or you wish we did before starting our business? Because I think we started, to give y'all a little bit, in 2016, we kind of officially started the business as far as doing like YouTube videos. You can go on our YouTube and probably scroll all the way back to 2016 and see some terrible videos on there of me in the car talking in TJ, or us in like the hills of San Diego doing a podcast on our phone and mic. Just real bare bones is how we got started. But we just jumped into it. We didn't necessarily have a set plan. We didn't have mentors in that area at that time to help us start beforehand. We just kind of tripped, fumbled, made our mistakes along the way, and learned our lessons. But if you could go back, Queen, what's something that you would want us to do differently from the start, from the inception?
So keep in mind, my role is director of logistics. I always put operations first. I don't know why, but operations and logistics. So mine are going to be with that lens. I wish we had known that Black Wall Street, the board game, was going to be our first,
For sure.
our first product, so that we could have named the business accordingly. As we've talked about it before on why we recommend naming the business last, is because you want to solve a problem. You may not know how you want to solve the problem until the first business or service really comes to you. So for us, our business, we started it, we called it True Health Forever. To this day, it is called True Health Forever. But we have a DBA, which is doing business as, which is kind of a separate piece of paperwork you need to file to say publicly, we're going to be known as this. So publicly, we're known as Play Black Wall Street. But technically our business name is True Health Forever. And so that is it can be confusing. And even again, being the person who gets like the insurance policies, pays
Invoices.
invoices, all those things, sometimes it's a little bit confusing on like which business name do I put in this scenario. So it just make it a little bit more challenging, especially when people are like, oh no, this piece of paper didn't have the right name on it. This one says Play Black Wall Street, blah, blah. It just makes it confusing. So that's one thing I definitely wish we had known.
Agreed.
Secondly, I think I'm going to leave it there.
That's it.
Yeah, I'm going to leave it there.
So start with branding aligned and intentional.
Yeah.
Right. And she's referencing the 7 Steps to Launch, which is a book that I wrote in 2021 after making the mistakes, one of them being branding, right? Then we wrote a book on 7 steps on how to launch your business based on our mistakes to save you time and save you money. So y'all can head to launchitcommunity.com, grab yourself a book. The book is also available on Amazon. Just search for Devon Travell, launch it, and you'll be able to purchase your book right there and start saving money to launch your business today. Go ahead, Queen.
The other thing that we usually talk about that I didn't mention was the fact that it took us a while to learn that it was a problem, that our business was named True Health Forever, but our product was Black Wall Street, the board game. Because the DBA came, maybe a year after, like we had already sold?
Longer than that. So we started the business 2017. The board game comes out officially 2018. We don't change branding until 2020.
Yeah.
So it was like 3 years, but like an economic 2 active years of selling through True Health Forever before we were finally like, you know what, let's rebrand because this is not working.
Just imagine, fortunately, how much money we probably lost because people were confused, didn't know where to find the game, the refunds, all those things. I imagine our growth would have been a lot quicker sooner had we aligned the brand with the name. So that's another reason why it's important to have the brand match the product, like everything should be crystal clear and make sense to the customer.
Be willing and flexible to make the changes needed for your success.
Yes.
I think sometimes you hold on to your vision, rightfully so. You have this dope vision, you have this brand name that makes sense to only you, but not to other people when you say it. And you just, you want to hold on to it so bad, but the success may be one step, one change away. And for us, that was the case. Literally 2020, Play Black Wall Street, everything. And we saw income quadruple. We saw followers 10x. We saw partnerships growing because Play Black Wall Street is in complete alignment with our mission and with our vision. Yeah. Right. For me, I would probably say, for advice, is put yourself in the position, in the job that you are equipped to satisfy right now. And I say that to say, a lot of people, when you start your business, and this was me, True Health Forever, I'm the founder and CEO of True Health Forever. I'm the founder and CEO of Play Black Wall Street. Just because that pride, right? It's my business, it's our business. You want to have the highest title. But in 2017, 18, 19, 20, even today, I'm nowhere near qualified to be a CEO, right? If I saw myself on paper, my resume, I wouldn't hire myself as the CEO of my own company. So why do I have the CEO seat right now? So in 2021, 22, I fired myself as the CEO and I was like, what you can do, what you are equipped to do right now is you can develop curriculum. So my title changed from CEO to Director of Curriculum Development. So now I own that bag. I own curriculum development and I'm able to do the outcomes, do the responsibilities that I need. And I can do some self-development, read books, go to conferences, see how other CEOs move, take notes on all that. And now someday I hope to hire myself back as the CEO when I'm qualified, right? So I highly encourage you, do the role on paper that you're qualified to do. Not to say that you're not going to be doing 11 other roles at the same time, but that's not your title. Your title is whatever you're qualified to do. And this also gives your organization room to hire the people that you need to really grow. How do you feel about that, Queen?
Just before I get there, I had a little chuckle moment to myself because you said like at some point you hope to hire yourself back. And for that brief moment, I did just picture you in a conference room interviewing yourself
100%.
because that's something you would do.
It's only what I would do. 100. I would literally go on StreamYard. I would record the interview, ask myself the question, and then I would play it back like taking notes. I don't like that answer. That's a good answer. Okay. And then at the end, I would make a decision. Do I hire Devon or do I not hire Devon? I've also thought about sitting on a panel where you and maybe some of our other Play Black Wall Street team members are interviewing me, and the team makes the decision. Are you ready or are you not ready? I think that would just also be interesting and give the team more ownership over the future of Play Black Wall Street. And then they can now say, oh, Devon, you're good right now, but what we want you to do is work on your leadership style, work on being able to use systems. Maybe you need to work on X, Y, and Z a little bit more before you're really ready to be CEO. Then I take the next year, 6 months, work on those things, and then re-interview again.
Yes, that works. I'm not gonna lie to you. For the chuckle moment, I imagined you like getting up out of a chair, walking around the table, sitting down.
Lord.
That's what really made me chuckle. But yeah, so the other ways would work too. But I think that that mindset I think is good. I think the thought or the question that I think may come up with other people's heads, like, so now who's the CEO? Or like, don't you need a CEO? And it's like, those tasks are going to get done regardless. Like, he's still the visionary for our company. But I think, again, it's just with not putting yourself in that title, like that's your main thing. Because yeah, I feel like a director of curriculum right now is probably more important because most of our income comes from, these courses, these programs where curriculum is involved. So the CEO title is cool, but I think to your point, or it's not functional at this point. So yes, although it's cool to call yourself the CEO, always be the founder. That's not something you'll take away, but if it's not necessary, if there's another role that makes sense to be filled at that moment, then that's probably what you should be calling yourself.
I think it also gives the illusion that there is someone else that is the CEO. So if you're at a conference, you're networking, you introduce yourself as, hey, I'm Devon Travell, Director of Curriculum for Play Black Wall Street. They know you're not the top person. So now they assume, okay, if there's a director of curriculum, there must be a CEO, there must be a COO, there must be other directors and not just this one person. But if you say, hey, I'm Devon, I'm the CEO of Play Black Wall Street.
I'm the CEO, founder,
accountant, social media director, video person. I also clean the bathrooms.
You're giving up it's just you.
It's just you.
Now I know it's just you.
Exactly. So it gives you that a little illusion of a larger organization. Okay. Last question, unless Queen, you have a question that you wanted to throw in there for couples that are on the fence. You're brilliant. You're capable. You just haven't fully committed to starting that business yet. Hopefully we can convince you. Hopefully these questions get you closer to it. I have one more question on here. But Queen, is anything else you want to add to this audience? A question for this audience?
I do have a question. I don't know what your question is, though, so I don't know if it's the same question that you're about to ask.
Listen, I will defer to the Queen.
Oh, thanks. How do you know that your spouse will be a good business partner? Like, okay, yeah, we work like in our relationship, but how do I know we're going to be good like business partners? I feel like that's a good question. And one, it's hard to know before you get into it. But I would say, one, you need to like spending a lot of time together. Like, period. If you're one of those like, oh yeah, I love my husband, but like the 2 hours we spend at the end of the night is enough, don't even bother. Don't even bother, because you're going to spend a lot of time together. More time than you probably even think about now. Especially, again, if your plan is to both be employed by the business, at some point, like for us right now, I work in my office, he works in his office. We will convene here on the couch together, but like we're together pretty much 24/7 because we want to be, but also because we have to be.
Yes, but mind you, whenever I leave and I go out of town, she's like, oh, finally. Devon's gone, because I ask a lot of questions. I talk a lot. And I asked her, I was like, Sinclair, give me your honest opinion. When I leave and I travel, are you just like a little bit relieved when I'm gone? And she was like, honestly, for the first day or two, yes, it's peaceful, it's quiet. I'm an introvert, so I can really self-charge. By day 3 or 4, then I'm like, oh, I miss Devon. I wish he would kind of come back home.
And I stand by that. I stand by it. And I do. Like you said, I'm introverted. So I feel like it just gives me a nice time to just recharge. Like, I don't have to do a lot of extra talking. It's just like, this is nice. This is nice.
I like
But
talking.
yes, you do. And I like talking to you.
Thank you.
I also like recharging.
Understood.
And that's fine. It doesn't make me any less appreciative to talk to you.
Understood.
Okay. But yes, you have to like being around each other. I think you have to communicate well.
That's a big one.
That's a huge one. So like if you don't already communicate well in your romantic relationship, that's one thing I would improve there first, right? You have to have an open line of communication, because if you are scared to say something, if you don't feel comfortable, being able to say something without that coming into the relationship, it's also probably not going to work, right? If he can give me feedback about my business. If I didn't do something and I was supposed to do it, he can give me that feedback now without me feeling like I'm a bad wife, right? I may feel like a bad employee that day, but I'm not feeling like a bad wife. I don't feel like he's attacking me for being a bad wife. But you need to be able to separate that.
For sure.
If you cannot, then I think there's still some work to be done. So yeah, definitely communication. I know you're gonna have something to add on to that.
Nothing to add to communication, right? I think you did that well. What I will add is you know how good or not good your partner is at being an employee. You hear their complaints about the work. You see when they're late. You know their habits inside of the workplace. So if you're like, the way you show up for McDonald's is not the way I want you to show up for our business, then starting a business might not be the right thing. Or they need to do a nice little boot camp and show within their 9-to-5 job that they can be an exemplary employee of the month. Then it's like, all right, if you can show these qualities in your 9-to-5, then we can start a business together. And it's the same thing, like the Queen was saying, in your marriage. If within the marriage, if you ask, hey, Devon, can you take the trash out? And it's like either I never do it, or I have an attitude when I do it, or I snap back and I'm like, well, you take out the trash. That's not going to be a good foundation for, hey, Devon, did you do that social media post? Hey, Devon, did you email the invoice to XYZ? Hey, Devon, did you? It's always going to be some type of task. So how your, not marriage couple, how your partner, how your spouse, there you go. Spouse is a good word. Thank you for sending that to me.
You're welcome.
I also just got a whiff of the Chinese food.
That came to you at the same time?
That same time?
Oh my God. I was like,
it's got that strong whiff of the Mongolian. No, man. My nostrils cleared up for that. Oh, that's great. But again, you see how your spouse is in the marriage. They're most likely going to carry that into business, or sometimes it can get exacerbated, right? It can get amplified a little bit in a business context because now it's public. So now they're not only worried about how you see them, they're worried about how their family sees them, how their parents see them, siblings, and now people may act a little bit different or heightened based on that public facing image, right? So take your time. Don't 100% jump into it, and ask yourselves these questions, right? And I think it's good to maybe have a couples retreat, have a weekend where you both want to start a business. You write down, okay, what are your concerns about starting a business first? Like, what are you scared of about me being a partner? What are you scared of about you being a partner? How much money do we have financially to invest in this business? Go through all these checks. And at the end of that retreat, if y'all are both feeling good, if y'all are both feeling comfortable and confident, then go ahead and start getting the paperwork ready, start that brand, and go through the 7 steps to launch your business. Okay? I do have one more question. It's going to be a quick one. Okay. And the question is, how do you find a community of other married couples to hold yourself accountable for your goals and for your business goals? And I think that's a great question on here, because that's literally what we're building. Right. What M4, what Melanated Married Millionaires in the making is growing to be is a community of married couples that are holding each other accountable for their business goals, their marriage goals, their personal health goals, and being able to explore more of the world together. So we've done a retreat in Belize where we had a married couple and another couple come with us, and we brainstormed a little bit, mastermind a little bit about business and real estate. We had something at the house for New Year's where we had people come over, wrote out your goals, wrote out your brand, your core ideology. We did the Ikigai, which is like, how does your purpose, skills, and what you can actually make money on intersect for your core purpose and mission in life? And how can you turn that into a business? So this is what we're building. This is what we love to do. And if you're interested, drop a comment, say, hey, I'm in, I want to start. We do virtual challenges, we have in-person challenges, and we are literally on a mission to help 100 melanated couples reach $1 million net worth. Make sure y'all tap in with us, all right? Queen, anything you want to add to the community that we are building actively?
If you are, if that sounds like something you would want to join, like, wow, this sounds great, how can I get involved? Yes, comment, but also let us know, like, what would you want to get from that type of community?
That's good.
Like he mentioned some of the stuff we do, but if there's something else, like, oh, I also want this, I also want tax advice, I also want whatever, like, let us know in the comments as well, because again, that's helpful for us as we're building it to know, like, what other resources, what other people should we have on our team so that we can make sure that we are meeting your needs as well.
I'll say. All right, y'all. Thank you as usual for tapping into another powerful, intentional, educational, and hopefully inspirational episode of the M4 Show. My name is Devon Chevelle, creator of Black Wall Street, the board game.
And I'm Sinclair, aka the Health Nerd.
Make sure y'all secure the marriage. Make sure y'all secure the love. And of course, make sure y'all secure the bag. Peace.
Welcome back to another episode of the Melanated Married Millionaires in the Making Show, aka the M4 Show. King, where can they go to tap in with us?
Make sure y'all head to the website www.the4show.com. Also tap in with us on IG, on the gram at the M4 Show. And of course, make sure y'all listen to this podcast and share it with a friend that you want to see win.
Now let's get into the
Now let's get into the show.